hail the temporary Poetics Manifesto. Temporary poetics kills the typically inevitable attachment between the poet and its child. Temporary poetics pours a lifespan into words, causing their beauty and meaning to burn alive. Temporary poetics causes the accessibility of poetry to become all the more accessible. Temporary poetics allows poetry to bask in definable days. Temporary poetics can help food display the rhythm of one's tongue and not just marinate the taste buds. Temporary poetics propagates wild abandon in word usage as the possibility of dissection rots in a spontaneous exertion of a non-permanent word feast. Temporary poetics will reinforce what the poem says and not what it is studied to be. Temporary poetics is a break against the rationality and formality of ink and paper. Temporary poetics is the words, not the poet. Temporary poetics is heavy, it is the paperweight. Temporary poetics stakes instead of lingers. Temporary poetics jams the commercial printer. Temporary poetics is the purified strain to the vast and endless. Temporary poetics is the strange uncle who walks on the other side of the street against the flow of people. Temporary poetics turns up its nose at Father Time. Temporary poetics breaks through the chains of sentimental attachment and falls freely into the winds of change. Temporary poetics is not anti-poetry, for everything is temporary. Temporary poetics just does it better. Temporary poetics will return us to our childhood and make us run around wearing only fig leaves. Temporary poetics will add cayenne pepper to open new dimensions. Temporary poetics will liberate us from the state of fox fear. Temporary poetics will promote a culture of expressive, creative digging it. Temporary poetics will let us rage forth for other apogees. Temporary poetics will transcend the watered-down Lawrence Welkin unto new horizons. Temporary poetics will generate new schizo-logos through alternative canvas and give papyrus a hiatus. Temporary poetics will annihilate the dress code of poetry and inoculate us with blistering bliss.
Well, I guess everyone has a testimony as, you know, anyone who's been connected to temporary poetry, they have a testimony of how it came into their life, and it's all, everybody's different, but I just want to just take some time just to share how it came into my life, and just an analogy to use, like if I were a father and had a son, you know, as I saw that my son had honesty and integrity and saw that he was responsible, you know, I would give him more privileges and I would give him the car, things like that. And that's real similar to this dish that I have here. This dish has been a really good dish, full of integrity and honesty, and just it's an awesome dish. It's carried Fruity Pebbles and macaroni and cheese and just all sorts of things over the years. And I just decided that I felt like I should allow it to contain a higher level of nourishment, something that actually touches the heart, not just the stomach. So I put some marinara sauce in here, and I've written a poem, Tick Time Self Be. That's my story.
Okay, this is my temporary poem. It is Lipstick on a Styrofoam Cup. Sometimes I feel lost. Sometimes I feel free. Sometimes I feel tried. Sometimes I feel nothing at all. The great thing about temporary poetry is that you can make it from things that are all around you. If you were going to write a poem about recycling, you might write it on a piece of trash to tie the canvas and the subject matter closely together. So I took a poem about my workplace and wrote it on the pad. I am the hard-working employee, the stress-prone doormat of Kroger, whose best is never quite enough, spending too much everything where I never really want to, stealing something priceless, a costly business.
I've chosen the leaf as my form for temporary poetics. The leaf is the original sheet of paper. You can write on them, and they're temporary. They die and wither. For this poem, I chose to write about the leaf and a vision of the leaf. It's called Falling. From falling comes relief, comes weightlessness, comes rest on a bed of air, comes a journey to earth within seconds, on a passage joined with sun, across wind, and from falling comes flying, comes cadence and descent, comes the efflorescence of dreams. From falling, from wonderful, limited, rapturous falling.
For my temporary poetry, I did shaving cream on the table because I remember being a kid and using it for math or learning how to write my name. And I thought it'd be a fun way to write a poetry poem and then, be able to smear it off and then rewrite it or however. And it's a lot of fun, even though you end up smelling like shaving cream. But this is my poem, and I wrote it here on the table. It says, "Here I am barely, my heart still in my chest barely. I'm hanging on barely, my forgiveness is still here barely." Okay. I'm done.
Why might you be listening to a synapse of contradicting minds, an irrational set of words, swaying, moving, affecting you so that you must hear more, addiction to the short, breathless poem, and where you eat my words.
I wrote a short poem and scratched it on this tiny watermelon. Tarquinia Twill swallowed the swill till she got her fill. Then she became ill and went off the pill. Now she's feeling much better.
This says sidewalks are paths to everywhere, and each person is going to write their idea of where sidewalks lead to. Sidewalks are paths to everywhere, to thoughts, to the door of my apartment, to an escape, to tomorrow, to adventure, to education and religion, to a destination. They are temporary paths.